So, you want to be a vampire.
Don't come to my house or else I'll suck your dick.
Bloodsuckers, revenants, undead, those who walk in shadow. Call them whatever you like, but we can't seem to get enough of them. Funny, considering that we're the main entree. Legends of them exist as far back as ancient Mesopotamia, but by now, those myths have coalesced into a general global idea. The vampire was once a human, turned by another vampire into an undead creature of the night. They must feed on human blood, and can be killed by garlic, steaks, silver, religious symbols, and most importantly, the sun. In exchange for all these downsides, they get eternal life, super strength, super durability, mind control, and the ability to turn into a bat. Especially nowadays, it's not quite the easy option. As fast as news gets around, it's harder to feed from someone and get away with it. Anyone can Google vampire weaknesses, and if they catch you, being immortal won't stop the cops from throwing you in the slammer. And sure, it's not that hard to escape, but all that attention gets annoying after a while. You can eat for free, but assuming you want somewhere safe to sleep, you're gonna have to get a job and pay rent like the rest of us. You might be safer somewhere more remote, but you need a steady food supply. You have to stay close enough to people. With all these pressures of the modern world, what's a poor bloodsucker to do? If I ever receive that offer, to join the army of darkness, I'll be ready, because I won't just have a thirst for human blood. I'll have a plan. The most important problems to tackle first are food supply and shelter. For this scenario, we're going to be starting from almost nothing. Just me and a group of loyal vampire followers who I've promised a crimson utopia. It's best to keep the circle a bit small. When it comes to feeding, you don't want too much competition. Vampires can feed without killing the victim, but it's easy to lose yourself in the bloodlust. We'll have to train ourselves as best as we can to control our urges. It's like eating a bag of family-sized chips and reaching the bottom before you know it. Thus, in the beginning, we'll be killing most of our victims. But any death leaves a paper trail. Investigations, evidence, witnesses, and inevitably, hunters. You don't want to feed on someone well known, because soon enough, all their family and friends will be tracking you down. No, we must aim for those isolated from society, with as few connections as possible. It is cruel, but it'll make it harder to trace these disappearances back to us. And if the police should start to get too nosy, we could always mess with their minds, send them on a wild goose chase. We'll have to work regular jobs, night shifts and remote positions specifically. If necessary, a few of us can travel carefully in the day. It might benefit us for now to get a job at a clinic or blood bank and have some spare food and cold storage. We shouldn't have any difficulty getting these positions. Any interviewers that stand in our way will find us quite persuasive. Plus, over time, we'll have one hell of a resume. Our community will have to pool funds, a tax upon each member, going to the construction of underground spaces. Though a bank robbery here and there could grease the wheels. We have the physical means to get away with it, it's just a matter, once again, of attention. The unfortunate requirement of my plan is that it will take time to construct the chambers, to amass the resources that we need. But time is the one thing we have in abundance. Eventually, we will see the completion of dormitories for me and my followers, as well as holding chambers for our livestock. For the right sum of money, contractors can be persuaded to turn a blind eye. And if they cannot, it'll be the last sight that they ever see. At this point, we will have hopefully trained ourselves to partially feed on victims, letting them recover, giving them a steady stream of human food. Those who can't play nice will be reprimanded. If they can't learn their lesson, they will be exiled. And if they try to reveal our hideaway, they shall be disposed of. Some time has passed, and we have an underground fortress of our own. We can continue to hunt for new humans, but it would be better if we could cultivate them ourselves. Forcing them to breed is barbaric, as is letting them live their whole lives in fear. We can do better. We will find children and infants and whisk them away. Orphanages with those too young to understand the world. Hospitals with vampires on the inside. Unsuspecting, neglectful parents. All easy targets. We will nurture them, raise them with kindness, and foster a culture that comes to revere vampires as sacred. Our underground hideaway will expand into an entire city in time, housing a population of humans that will never know the sun. Isolated from the rest of the world, they will learn to love vampires. They'll be honored to let us feed from them. We will walk among them as gods. We'll make sure their lives are otherwise fulfilling and joyful, though any who learn the truth or try to escape must be disposed of. Truly, this may be the most difficult and critical juncture of our plan. We must cast aside any and all aspirations of cruelty and tyranny, lest they get the wrong idea. We must love our humans, generation after generation, so that they may come to love us. Eventually, the human population will become self-perpetuating, and will have no need to source humans from outside. It'll be a costly endeavor, not just to build housing, but to feed the humans. We'll need to import tons of food. It would behoove us at this point to have businesses under our name, a cover for the operation. But once again, with patience and planning, all things are possible. Over time, we will learn the art of agriculture and teach it to our humans. They'll be given space to grow their own crops underground. Not just food for day-to-day life, but silos of seed, emergency supplies for darker days. Ironic though it may be, solar paneling could allow us electricity without need of an external power grid. Water filtration systems could let us keep clean water from running dry. At last, you may begin to see where this is going. With time, we will become untethered from the surface world, entirely self-sufficient. And when we no longer need the world above, we shall rid ourselves of it. Whisper sweet falsehoods into the ears of powerful people, and bring about a war the likes of which humankind has never seen before. Our sweet society shall be safe underground, while nuclear hellfire rages up above. For vampire kind cannot truly be optimized until our weaknesses are removed. I had many ideas about how to fight the sun, but none bore fruit. Removing it might not kill us, but it would kill off our food source. Blotting it out with chemicals could help for a time, but the degradation of the ozone layer and the resulting increase in solar radiation would only kill us faster when the sun returned. So, as far as I can tell, there are no means to rid the world of the sun. But simpler things are not so untouchable. It is humans that harvest silver, grow garlic, and practice religion. Were society to go away, such things would eventually follow humanity into extinction. Of course, nuclear Armageddon wouldn't kill off all surface dwellers, and so eventually, we would need to get our hands dirty. Once the radiation subsides, a few survivors could be turned into vampires and let loose upon the rest of the population. Though, we'd make sure to keep the underground city of humans a careful secret. This new generation of vampires would prowl through the nuclear wasteland, feeding upon the last living humans, until at last, no one remains. Then, either they'd die of starvation, or we'd clear them out ourselves, leaving an Earth devoid of sentient life. This might take a while, so we could tidy up some loose ends in the meantime. Offer up bounties for silver and holy objects. Any survivors who help us gather our weaknesses could be rewarded with water and fresh food from below. Then, carefully, we could dispose of these things before anyone can use them. After possible centuries of biding our time, our Crimson Age would finally be upon us. A healed Earth would be open to our humans. How could they second-guess such a paradise? One we'd tell them was littered with relics of a bygone age. These poor ancient humans destroyed themselves, but we saved a chosen few, protected them, until it was finally safe to return. The only danger left would be the sun, but with no need for jobs or fear of persecution, it's a worthwhile price to pay. The only vampires left would be those who've learned self-restraint, non-lethally feeding from happy, docile humans. It could be beautiful. And to any vampires out there looking for a retirement plan, feel free to give me a call. Happy Halloween.